Arsenal have a champion's mentality. Every question, every obstacle being thrown this Arsenal team's way, they are overcoming, whether it's heavy rotation in certain games, players being dropped to the bench, players coming off the bench and changing games, red cards, going behind and coming back, winning in Europe. It does not matter for this Arsenal team so far this Premier League season. Make sure you go down, drop a like if you are enjoying the content. If we could hit 500 likes, that would be absolutely glorious. And the road to 30,000 subscribers is well and truly on. We are steamrolling our way towards 28,000 subscribers. Now, Arsenal played Southampton at home off the back of Liverpool getting 3 points against Crystal Palace. And I want to talk about the mentality of this Arsenal team because they're unbeaten so far this season. They have had maybe a dip of performance in that first half against Southampton, didn't take their chances. They go 1-0 behind. And Southampton had a couple of chances that game, but it was the response and it's the mentalities. It's a champion's sort of response, a champion's comeback. You know, we've seen this before with this Arsenal team. You know, they nearly throw away a 2-goal lead at home to Leicester. And then there's a response within the squad that we're absolutely chill here. We'll go and get the win. They've beaten PSG in the Champions League. They've gone to Atalanta and got a drawing 0-0. They've gone to the Etihad and got a draw. They've beaten Villa away. They've beaten Spurs away. And they currently sit 1 point off of top. The only City are above on goal difference, and they are actually tied on goal difference. And it's only Liverpool right now that are actually above Arsenal. And when we talk about mentality, we talk about mindset. And I think the culture in the football club is slowly starting to change. We've seen in the past where this Arsenal team, 100%, this was 2 or 3 years ago, they wouldn't have come back today against Southampton. We saw that last year where they drew, was it the year before they drew at the Emirates to Southampton? You know, they drew away to West Ham. You know, we saw last year this Arsenal team lose at Newcastle. We're slowly starting to see a mentality improvement. And the big turning point for me when talking about this Arsenal team, looking at it from a rival's perspective, was that performance at the Etihad. Going 1-0 down early on by an Erling Haaland goal. Everyone doubting you. Everyone throwing, crap your way. Here we go. Manchester City are going to steamroll them. And it's the response to then come back, get an equaliser, go ahead, from a header from Gabriel. And let's be honest, if Arsenal have 10 men on the pitch against Manchester City, in my opinion, they come away with the win. If they have 11 men on the pitch against City, they come away with the win. 11 men on the pitch against Brighton, they come away with the win. They're unbeaten. They've scored 15. They've conceded 6. They've conceded 2 less than City, but conceded 4 more than Liverpool. Less than Chelsea, less than Villa, less than Newcastle, less than Fulham. Funny enough, Tottenham have actually conceded less than Arsenal, Chelsea and City. But Arsenal have had a very good start. That they're unbeaten in the Champions League. They're through to the next round of the League Cup, and I just think with a couple of additions in January, we could be looking at a side that can really go to the latter stages of all competitions. They're playing a more of a pragmatic approach. Arteta is changing his tactics. He's going from a 4-3-3 to some games to a 4-4-2. He's knowing when to play a pragmatic approach. He's knowing when to go for the kill, go for the jugular. And you look at their next, 7 games. Bournemouth away, I believe they go there. They come back with the 3 points. We know Arsenal actually play better away from home. We actually know Arsenal play better away from home than when they do at the Emirates. In the last couple of games, they've conceded 3 goals at the Emirates, where away from home, they got a draw 0-0 against Atalanta. They beat Spurs with a clean sheet. They beat Villa with a clean sheet. And so I think they go to Bournemouth and get the right result. And then it's Shakhtar Donetsk at home. I think they steamroll them. Then it's a big, big game up against Liverpool. You'd imagine Liverpool after the break will be really tested with their fixtures they've got coming up, the likes of Chelsea, City, Leverkusen, Madrid, Leipzig, all in their games. And of course, Arsenal play Shakhtar Donetsk at home, whereas Liverpool will be away to Leipzig because they've got a trip to Germany. And then I think they'll comfortably beat Preston, making 4 or 5 changes. And then I believe they go and beat Newcastle as well. The 2 games after that are going to be the biggest test in terms of this run of games, because I think there's more chance of them getting a result against Liverpool, knowing the fact that Liverpool do play that game at RB Leipzig, and I don't know if I think he'll go with his strongest possible team. I don't think Slot will rotate. I think they'll heavily rotate in their cup game. And then Inter Milan's going to be a real test for them. Huge test up against the team that have got a European pedigree. They won today 3-2 against Torino. They're back up to second in the league. Inter Milan. The San Siro is an iconic European stadium that's in 8, 9, 10 Champions Leagues between the two Milan clubs. And then Chelsea. And Chelsea, of course, in the Conference League, have got two different 11s, can comfortably rotate between their first 11 and their second 11. Of course, Cole Palmer will not be played in the Conference League till January, so he'll be fully fit and firing. But the mentality is changing within this football club, and we are actually seeing that. They are built different now. They're built completely different to what we saw 12 months ago. Yes, the silverware is not there. I understand that. Before people say, "Oh, look at this Tottenham fans," the silverware is not there. I get that, but this huge strides in improvement. They've played some good football this season. They've beaten Spurs, Villa, Wolves, Bolton, PSG, Leicester, Southampton. They've already, we're already in October, and they've got Villa, Spurs, Atalanta. Villa, Spurs, and City are all the way out the way. You look at their Champions League games, Sporting away, I think they go and win. They'll get to see Victor Gyökeres live in the flesh. I think they beat Monaco at home. I think they've got Girona. I think they win. And I think their last game is obviously Shakhtar. But obviously not in those orders. Those are the games they've got. And we're seeing this champions mentality and never say die attitude. And knowing the fact that someone's going to bow you out, whether it's Saka today, 7 Premier League assists in 7 games with 2 goals, whether it's Kai Havertz, who's got 7 goals in a row at the Emirates, 20 goals now in an Arsenal shirt for him, whether it's the defense of Gabriel Saliba that can both chip in with goals, the fact that they can heavily rotate their fullbacks with the likes of Ben White, Tomiyasu, Zinchenko when he comes back, Ricardo Calafiori, Tomiyasu, Kivior. They've got depth for days in defense, which is why they have got one of the best defenses in the world and probably the best defensive partnership right now. I think Konate and Van Dijk deserves a lot of credit as well, because they've only conceded 2 goals in the league, and they've already got plus 11 goal difference because they've scored 13, which is absolutely phenomenal return. But I think over the next, 6 to 7 games, we're going to see once again what this Arsenal side is like when it gets tested. And you've got to remember, Mikel Merino will probably be fully fit by then. Odegaard will be back from injury. Zinchenko will be back from injury. Ben White and Timber will both probably be fully fit and back in this Arsenal side. So if you're an Arsenal fan right now, you've got to be optimistic about this season. You're firing on all cylinders. You're doing all of the right things. I don't understand some of the approach where people are saying, Arsenal are going to stink it out. Well, managers have made careers on that. Jose Mourinho, Diego Simeone, Antonio Conte. Antonio Conte right now is top of Serie A. In Italy with Napoli, 14 goals scored, 5 against. He's won he's won 5 out of his first 7 games, drawing 1 and losing 1. He's had a very good start to life in Italy. And no one's really saying anything about him, but it seems to be whenever Arsenal do it, it's almost like there's this huge, ginormous agenda, which I find absolutely hilarious at times. But do let me know your thoughts down below. Do you think Arsenal have a champions mentality? Do you think Arsenal have got what it takes to get over the line and finally win some silverware? I think a couple of players in January, I think Raheem Sterling will come good for them. A couple of players in January, whether they're going to bring a striker in, whether they're going to bring another midfielder in, whether it's going to be another forward, that for me is going to be really important in terms of how are they going to cope come the back end of the season. But so far, Arsenal, every question, like I said, that's going their way. Can you get over the line against Manchester City? They nearly did. It was only 40 seconds away playing with 10 men. Can you beat Spurs again? Yes. Can you beat Villa again? Yes. Are you winning in the Champions League? Can you beat a big side in the Champions League? Yes. Have you got a different tactical approach to games? Yes. Is Bukayo Saka still performing? Yes. How is Havertz performing? Is he scoring goals? Yes. Can you cope with that, Martin Odegaard? Yes. Um, is your defense going to be very, very strong this season? Yes. Have you got multiple players in the squad scoring goals? Yes. So every single question that's going their way so far this season, they have answered every single question. Let me know your thoughts down below. Do you think Arsenal win silverware? How do you think Arsenal have gotten so far? We're going to the international break with them being in a very, very good position. Like I said, second or joint second with Manchester City. Manchester City are only above because they've scored more goals, I believe, and they're only 1 point away from Liverpool. It's going to be a very interesting time for this international break. Will Saka get game time? Will he play? Will he be rested? Obviously Chelsea as well. Will Palmer play for England? Liverpool, will Trent play for England? But yeah, we go into this international break, probably one of the worst times for me. But when we get back, obviously Liverpool, big game up against Chelsea, Arsenal up against Bournemouth. So yeah, and obviously the Champions League will be back the following week, as well as the Europa League. Make sure you go down, drop a like on the video, subscribe to the channel. Let me know your thoughts on this Arsenal mentality. Do you think that things are slowly changing at the football club? Do you put that down to the players, the new signings that have come in? Is that Arteta's approach to games? Is that his mindset? Because you think 40 seconds away from beating Manchester City, if you were to add those 2 points on right now, they would be top of the league. If they play against Brighton with 11 men right now, they would be top of the league. And I know you can say that about a lot of teams. If Liverpool would have beaten Nottingham Forest at home, they'd be top of the league. I understand that. But I do feel in some of the decisions this season, Arsenal haven't had things kind of run for them. They've been dealt a bit of a harsh card. Yes, Rice kicks the ball away, but it's just a harsh red card. It is the law of the game, but we see that happens in so many games, but it's the inconsistency which drives us mad. That the Manchester City game is stupid from Leandro Trossard, and if he doesn't do that, I believe they hold out and maybe even get another goal. Manchester City, yes, they beat Fulham today, but they look a bit shaky. I'm not going to lie. Fulham had a lot of chances today. Could have scored, 3 goals. They've turned up to the Etihad with 11 shots, 4 on target, and 41% possession. Manchester City at the moment don't seem to be clicking as their usual self. So it's going to be very interesting to see what happens after the international break. How will Pep sort out this Rodri situation? Please let me know down below. Make sure you drop a like. Make sure you have subscribed. And yeah, hopefully this kind of 12, 11, 13 days international break goes quick, because it is so painful, man. It is so painful. But look, we'll see you on the next one. Thank you for watching. I am out.